السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. Today's topic, inshallah, in the sequence of the seerah of Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, is the hijrah. Inshallah, this will be a good opportunity for us to get closer to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and to build a stronger love for Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, his seerah and his sunnah. So inshallah, as I said, the topic is the hijrah, and from Mecca to Medina. Most of us, we know a lot about this. Our parents generally teach us this when we're young. So I'd also like to begin with this firstly a reminder and a review for my knowledge. And I learned a lot while looking into this. So it was a good opportunity, alhamdulillah. And on top of that, may Allah forgive me if I speak anything incorrectly, if I say anything wrong or not correct. For I'm not a scholar or a student of knowledge, so may Allah purify my tongue from saying anything wrong about Allah or Rasulullah. So let's begin with the context of the hijrah. This begins with the second pledge of Aqba, which, much like the first pledge of Aqba from a year prior, was a secret meeting between Prophet Muhammad ﷺ and people from Medina. The first one was a much smaller group, I believe less than 20 people, and it was more related to the deen. Like people were converting, they were saying, okay, we will spread Islam in Medina, inshallah. The second meeting, obviously there were still people who converted, took their shahada, also related to the spreading of Islam in Medina, but this was also a very political meeting. At this point, Rasulullah started facing an increased level of persecution in Mecca, and so they began looking for ways that they can get out. And the people of Medina, who many of them had converted to Islam at this point, and Islam was thriving, and it was doing very well, and facing a lot less resistance from the people of Medina, they offered Rasulullah an opportunity to leave Mecca and from the persecution of the mushrikeen. So there are a lot of details of the meeting. A lot of them are obviously disputed as well. So the Rasul, I'll just go over like the general things. So Rasulullah came with his uncle Abbas ibn Abdul Muttalib. Muttalib. Okay. So the uncle began by questioning the people of Medina, ensuring that can you handle the responsibility of being the protectors or the guards, sort of. Rasulullah only needs Allah as his protector. The guards of Rasulullah, right? Because you will face people who want to attack him, who will verbally slander him, who will seek to murder him, assassinate him, hurt him. And so he was questioning them, saying, do you have the capability to bear this responsibility on your shoulders? It's a heavy burden, especially at the time Islam was not the Khalifa, the Umayyads, stretching from Maghreb to Iran or India. It was still growing at the time. So he was questioning them, can you take care of him? They replied, yeah, no, we can. We have the capabilities, we have the strength, we can do it. And we have the iman and faith in Rasulullah. So they assured him that they were capable and ready to harbor Rasulullah from the attacks of Quraysh and other mushrikeen who seek to dilute his message. So he took the Pledge of Allegiance, the bay'ah, from them, and he agreed essentially to a sort of alliance with them. He agreed that we'll work together and we'll continue. So after this sort of agreement, many Muslims moved to Medina. They began moving to Medina, as essentially now there was a promise that they wouldn't be persecuted there, as beaten and whipped and murdered as they were in Mecca. Many Muslims who initially emigrated to Ethiopia as well made the move back to Medina, since this is their balad, their people, their language, and on top of that, they're now guaranteed safety. So now the response of Quraysh, right? They obviously weren't too happy that now Islam has sort of began its own sort of city-state thing here. Now they're trying to compete with them. They're also north of Mecca, which means they can interfere with their trade, which was like the biggest thing to them, their money. That was the pride of Mecca at the time, their money and the religion, which also had to do with trade and the caravans. So there was a lot at risk for the mushrik chiefs of Quraysh. So since they had a very deep hate and disrespect for Rasulullah, they intended to destroy Islam. They said, okay, we made him as many offers as possible, and he's not taking them. He's not taking women. He's not taking money. He's not taking kingship. So now we have to destroy him entirely. So they decided now. They came together in a house, the most powerful chiefs of Mecca, and decided, okay, that's enough. We're gonna kill Rasulullah. They decided they were gonna kill him. So the assassination was very well thought out. They thought they had everything. So back then, a big thing in their culture was blood money, right? An eye for an eye. You kill someone, I kill someone, right? So if you killed someone from my family, I get to take someone from yours. There's sort of equivalence here. So they said, okay, how can we prevent this from happening? Because if we kill Rasulullah, they'll come after us, right? If we send one guy, they said, okay, now we need to get back at you. So they said, this is how we're going to do it. This was a suggestion of Abu Jahl, one of the greatest enemies of Rasulullah. He said, why don't we gather one person from each tribe, one young man from every tribe. This was a group of young men, maybe 10, 15, a small group, but one from each tribe. And what they would do is they would each strike Rasulullah at the same time. That's like 11 swords at the same time, or however many there were at the same time. And so his argument was, how is he going to claim blood money? Not one person killed him. It was a group of people from different tribes at the same time. How are you going to claim blood money? Oh, I'm going to take 11 people? No, it's one for one. So they said they'll be forced to say, oh, can you guys at least say sorry, or give us some money. So this was their plan. They were like, they basically can't get us at all for it. They thought it was foolproof. But Allah had another plan. So now to the night of the assassination, right? Of the planned assassination. So many of you, of course, also know this story, but I'll try and maybe include something you didn't know. So they were planning to do it at night, right? When he came, they waited at night and they waited for him to come out in the morning. So they were waiting outside his house, and occasionally they would look inside, make sure he was sleeping. So Muhammad ﷺ was in the house with Ali ibn Abi Talib. Okay, and so they were already outside at this point. So he's like, okay, I need to leave. So what he did, and many of you know that this is one of his miracles, is that he took a bit of dust, walked out the house, and recited an ayah of Quran. So the ayah he recited was وَجَعَلْنَا مِنْ بَيْنِ أَيْدِيهِمْ سَدًّا وَمِنْ خَلْفِهِمْ سَدًّا فَأَغْشَيْنَاهُمْ فَهُمْ لَا يُبْصِرُونَ. We have placed a barrier, right, before them and a barrier behind them, right, and covered them so they failed to see. فَهُمْ لَا يُبْصِرُونَ. Right. That's said to it is said that he said this ayah as he left the house. And so it is also said that the assassins went blind temporarily to allow him to escape. Because if they saw Rasulullah walking outside the house, they immediately attack him, right? So this is the miracle of Allah, that he walks out, right past them. Think about it, they're all around the door, they're all blind, and he just walks right by. SubhanAllah, right? And they're waiting to kill him. SubhanAllah. So later that night, I've heard different things. I read that someone told the assassins that Rasulullah left. I also heard that they checked the bed in the morning. But either way, the point is, Rasulullah is gone. He escaped. Because of the plan of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And they came to find out that who's in the bed, right? Because they kept looking inside and someone's sleeping, someone inside the bed. And they didn't have body pillows at the time, so they couldn't fake that. It had to be somebody, right? Turns out, uncover it, Ali ibn Abi Talib. Okay. So think about it. Ali ibn Abi Talib, he was going to sacrifice his life for Rasulullah. Because for all he knew, they were just going to, come to the bed and strike him. He was dead, So he, he was going to sacrifice his life for Rasulullah. It is also said that Rasulullah assured him of safety before he left. So different things here. But either way, there's a clear love for Rasulullah from Ali ibn Abi Talib. And inshallah, hopefully we can have the same love for Rasulullah. Not to his level, of course. Of course, Allah alam exactly the details of the story. Because again, did he tell Ali ibn Abi Talib? Did he not? The point is, he escaped. And when the assassins asked Ali ibn Abi Talib, where is he? Where'd he go? Right? He said, oh, I don't know. Oh, I don't know. So now the hijrah begins. He's left Mecca. And now a race starts, right? You know, who can get ahead? Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam or the Quraysh? Now they're like, okay, this plan that we thought out, really well has failed, right? So now we have to find him because clearly he left somehow, So now we have to find him. We have to get him before he's able to get to Medina in what? The protection of the Muslimin. He took their pledge of allegiance. They have a lot of Muslimin there, and the Rasulullah, he promised to uphold the treaties that they had as well. So the people there already had peace with the Jews and other tribes in Medina. And he said, if I go there, I'm going to maintain the peace. I'm not going to say, Kafir, that's it. It's only Muslims here. He was going to maintain the treaty unless they broke it. He would have to break it as well. So because of this promise, they're like, we have to stop him from getting to Medina. Like, we have to stop. So once again, Medina is north of Mecca. So where does Quraysh start looking first? North. And he has to, this is the fastest path. He's trying to get away from us. So they set a bounty on his head, right? So he leaves, so just to go back a little bit, Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam leaves Mecca with Abu Bakr. This is very common knowledge. He left with Abu Bakr. It was them two and a guide, that went and left Mecca. The guide was not Muslim, but they trusted him. And the guide did a good job. He led them, to good places, I'll explain. And he covered their tracks after them. So they were basically undetectable, They didn't have drones at the time, Start searching the area. So on their way, as I said, the Quraysh started looking north. So Rasulullah was smart, he knew what he was doing, and Allah was guiding him as well. So he goes south first. He doesn't go north, he goes south. And they reach a cave called Thawr, right? So why do they go south? Obviously to get a head start on Quraysh, right? Because Quraysh is going to look north and they see it's not north. Okay, now we have to look for that. Where is he then? So he's trying to misguide them, kind of avoid them. Very smart. So they stay at Thawr, okay? So Abu Bakr enters the cave first. Many of you know the story. He enters the cave first, he makes sure it's safe, and he rips off pieces of his clothes to cover holes. Because these caves, they're out in the desert. Many insects, like animals, snakes, still living in these caves, these holes, So he goes and covers all these holes. You don't want a snake to jump on you as you're sleeping, right? Unfortunately, he didn't have enough to cover just one hole, one or two holes, right, in the cave. So he covers it with the bottom of his foot, right? And he puts it there. So obviously they're tired. They escaped in the middle of the night, right? And they're on the run, so there's a sense of adrenaline, right? Of course they had tawakkul in Allah, they believed in Allah, but you're still on the run, you never know, someone might just appear. So there's still a sense of fear. Okay, so Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam falls asleep on Abu Bakr's leg, right? And you have to keep in mind his leg is covering this hole in this cave, right? So unfortunately, there was an insect or a snake of sorts in this hole, living in this hole, which is why he covered all the other ones. So the insect bites Abu Bakr's foot, right? And this hurts a lot. These insects, they're not a grasshopper. They got fangs, right? This is among many. Many more miracles coming, inshallah, right? So they stayed in this cave for 3 days, right? Obviously, Quraysh is searching, they're really searching hard, right? They really want to find him at this point. And they looked north and they couldn't find him. And they sent the best bounty hunters. They put a bounty on Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam's head. Him and Abu Bakr, they put a bounty. What's the bounty? 100 camels each. You have to keep in mind, camels was a big deal back then. It was if you owned 1 or 2 camels, you were rich. That was it back then, It's like a yacht. So 100 camels is a lot. So you can sense the hate, the anger, toward the haqq of Islam. They wanted to get rid of it completely. 100 camels, it's a lot of money. So they wanted to get rid of it. So obviously this inspired people who weren't qualified as well to go searching for Rasulullah. So not only do you have professional bounty hunters and assassins, you have random people searching everywhere, just to see if I can nab this, bounty. Even just Abu Bakr, not even, just somebody, and get that both for myself. So, as they search, a group of Quraysh actually make it to this cave, the cave of Thawr. They actually make it. they find this cave, and they get right in the front of the cave, right? So Abu Bakr now, he's actually scared, because if they just like look down, they see the two of them. Like it's over for them if they look down. So it's narrated from Abu Bakr, that he said to Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam when he was in the cave with him, if just one of them, looks down at his feet, right, he'll see us. He'll see us, like it's over. So Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, he replied to him, what do you think, Ya Abu Bakr, of two, the third of whom is Allah? Two people? The third of them is Allah. Right? So there's also an important small note on taqwa. We should always remember Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is watching us where we are, whatever we do. Right? But in this case, it's especially important, right? That you really have to have that tawakkul. Because if you don't have that tawakkul, Allah's not going to make things work for you. You have to have that belief. So you have to imagine the belief that they had for like Allah just to cause this person from Quraysh, oh yeah, there's no one inside, okay. Now you can like look down, you know? So after this, they went on, right? After the 3 days, they continued their hijrah. Obviously going south, they begin ramping north, right? Because Medina's north. You can't go to Medina going south, so they have to wrap around. So many miracles occur on this trip as they continue, right? One of them is there was a bounty hunter. He wasn't necessarily qualified, but he was just looking for the bounty, for camels a lot. His name is Surqa, the son of Malik, right? So as he actually saw the group, right? Rasulullah, Abu Bakr, and the guy like walking, he saw them. So he started chasing them. He started like looking, like go, you know. And so what happened was he kept falling off his horse. Every few times he'd get fast, he kept falling over, and he could see them. They weren't like super far. He could see them. In a desert, in an expensive desert, if you see these people, like I have it, And so he keeps falling off his horse, right? So now he's like, okay, this is a sign of Allah. Maybe I should, not try and kill him now, because something bad is probably gonna happen to me. Because any other time, the horse is not just throwing you off for no reason, and now every few steps the horse is throwing you off, something's going on, right? So he says, okay, he goes up to Rasulullah, not with the niyyah to kill him anymore, but the niyyah to say, I'm sorry, like, I want to kill you, and I see the miracle of Allah, I don't want to do it anymore, right? So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala forgave him, and after discussing with him, alhamdulillah, he converted to Islam. And he went back to Mecca and started playing around with the plans of Quraysh to continue finding Rasulullah. So like, okay, now I'm Muslim now, I have to help Rasulullah, right? Get to Medina. So he started playing with the plans of Quraysh in Mecca. Another miracle is another time where they come across like a nomadic couple. I apologize, I'll try and make this very quick. They come across a nomadic couple. So this is a famous miracle. Rasulullah, he milks this very deficient goat, and it produces a lot of milk, enough for the whole group and this old couple. So the husband who comes back, he's very astonished who came by, and the wife tells him, blessed man, SubhanAllah. There are others, but due to time constraints, I'm not going to go into them, inshallah. So at the end, they make it to Quba safely, right next to Medina. So alhamdulillah, they managed to avoid the plan of Quraysh, right? And make it to Medina safely. And many festivities occurred when they came to Medina. People were happy and they were gathering and they were Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar, takbir, Rasulullah is with us now, he's safe. So we can continue to propagate the message of Islam. Alhamdulillah, that's why we're Muslimin today. And alhamdulillah, should follow the sunnah and the adab of Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. So, that'll be it for today, inshallah. I apologize if I took your time.
Beautiful.
That's it. Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullahi.